So, I've just been introduced to this idea of this post-technological, I don't even want to call it capitalist, but it's like a super tech nihilism, like a regressionism almost, of getting away from these concepts of a corporate sorry corporate automation of you. I struggled with the wording on this, and I still do, because I just want to get my thoughts out here really quickly. I also look like I don't know what this. The sun is at a bad angle. I just have to get this out of my head. It's, in the vlogs, I've been talking about my disillusionment with a lot of the advanced tech and a lot of the bigger stuff. What is it? The AI stuff. I'm just completely blanking on this. What it's called. Um, what is it? Node network. Whatever. All this AI garbage. The high tech stuff. The algorithms. The way that computers are running things and we're barely running the computers. Man, that's scary. Neural net. That's what I'm talking about. That has been bothering me for a long time. And it's it seems like a natural progression that even though people don't, I think, technically understand what's happening, and I mean that literally, like they don't understand the technology that's being used against them or used to modify them. It's like they intrinsically know it. It's a gut feeling. They understand that they are being reduced to a process. In earlier recordings, I refer to this as Project Open Wallet. The idea that through tracking sufficient amount of information from you, and by you I mean all of us, they can reduce you from a person into an open wallet. The idea is that to get the money out of you, a capitalistic tendency, but it goes beyond that. It can't stop there. Because if you follow this, I mean, these companies have more money than the GDP of most nations. And we're still looking at them like, well, you know, that's just a mom and pop shop. That's a private company. I want to give you a little bit of hope, though, while I am barreling down this slope of disillusionment with the high level of tech that's being applied to almost every part of our lives. Yeah, it's really spooky, I guess. Creepy. Ooky. I just give it a little bit of hope here. I've been open about the fact that I have problems with paranoia and some related mental health problems, and they kind of push me always toward the paranoid, always toward the questioning. I have a tendency towards conspiracies, And I've identified that tendency, and I've identified even that paranoia, and I've intentionally turned off a lot of this stuff, which actually makes me slightly more susceptible to missing cues that would normally be taken. But on the tech side of things, that proclivity, I mean, that's probably what made me interested in teaching myself to be a hacker, and then getting those jobs, doing the same security work. It's because I want to understand the bits and pieces. I want to understand how it fits together, and I want to understand how to break it. And part of it is because I want to understand, I want to pull back the veil. I want to understand what's going on back there. Because if I can see where everything's going, it's part of why I like to deal in plain text. The plain text can go anywhere. It's why my Bitcoin is in brain wallets. I don't trust ones and zeros. I don't trust the CPUs. I mean, literally, I don't trust CPUs. The things that are in them, I don't know what's in them. And that's all patented trade secret stuff, and it keeps getting more and more complicated rather than more and more. It's simple but more powerful, I guess, is the thing. And then cars. I find myself striking this weird balance where I'm this weird kind of tech Luddite, this techie tech Luddite, where someone wants to, there's a new app for finding your sunglasses. Like, no thank you, I don't want you to know where my sunglasses are. Well, who's gonna care about what you know? I don't care. Get out of my freaking sunglasses, all right? Speaking of sunglasses, it's going too far, and it's going too far for the pursuit of capitalistic tendencies. It's like the system is being stretched to its limit. I've talked about capitalism before. I think it's the least evil system, but that doesn't necessarily make it not evil. You can say at the far limits of anything, there's bad, there's evil to be had. I feel like we've gone past the limit, and we've just we're in the Twilight Zone or something. I don't understand it. We're doing generational analyses and writing genetic algorithms to figure out how many Starbucks coffees we're gonna buy. It's unbelievable. And this has always been an I/O problem, the input. The more companies manage the input, the more they can manage the output. And the way I worded this was, you're not being turned into a wallet, an open wallet, because that doesn't fit. We're post-capitalism. We're pre-control, corporate controlism. I don't understand it. And again, this is just first thoughts. I'm interested in your take on it, although I'm not even sure what my take is. I'm not doing it for money anymore. They're not doing it for money anymore. They're doing it for power. They're doing it for control. And the apparatuses that they have. It's like if Mao had Google, it would have been all over. He would have had complete control. The amount of power, the exponential power that gets added to will by technology. Technology is nothing. Technology is just a multiplier. If you are good and you use technology, it multiplies your good. If you're bad, then it multiplies your bad. But it is just a multiplier. And the people who are in charge of this technology, no, what it is, it's not necessarily the control, but the multipliers is coming to the point where you're not even multiplying You know, it's not 2 times 10, it's not 2 times 100, it's 2 times, or 2 to the 100th power. It's 2 to the 1,000th power. And we have these instances where we're like, what if we try this? And instead of trying it a little bit, and it's kind of interesting, we try it to the moon. And it's like, well, those results are interesting. Well, hang on. This might be profitable. And the question is never asked of, like, is this okay? And there's it's like a tech nihilism of, well, they're going to get my data anyways. And it's not about data, and it's not about a wallet. It's not about getting you to open your wallet. It's about being able to control your inputs. Because when someone can control your inputs, or almost all your inputs, they can control almost all your outputs. Oh, the hope. Right. Sorry. The hope of this, or the good news, I should say, is that tech is still neutral. The tech is still neutral, and it is still a multiplier of, and can still be a multiplier of good. Just not at this corporate level. And my natural proclivity toward paranoia, toward trying to control things and understand things, the things that I'm working with, puts me in a unique perspective. And I just want you to know that there is open source tech, simple tech, that can be used to your benefit, to a severe benefit. I mean, in a good way, a very extreme benefit. I have a vlog about automating yourself, or using tech to augment yourself. And that's just fine, so long as the only thing that you're helping is you. And unfortunately, you need to be slightly technical to be able to take advantage of some of these things. You know, I'm augmenting my memory by having tagged lists of items that I'm reference data that I need, and then I can forget it once I have it there. But where is that data stored? And is that data scanned by someone else? I'm in charge of backups. I'm in charge of collating that data. I'm in charge of maintaining its integrity. I'm in charge of maintaining its security. There's not an app for that. Maybe this is what started it. I updated one of the services, and it says, okay, you need 2-factor authentication. I'm like, oh, you're going to do a cell phone thing, right? And it said, no, you want to download this Google, you want to do a timed, a time-based one-time password, which is kind of interesting, I guess. A little redundant, but whatever. Weird flex, but okay. But like, I understand cryptographically why it kind of makes sense. It's just like low-hanging fruit, though. But it said to install, Google Auth. And I'm like hell. No damn way. Excuse me. And it says just install an app on your phone. Yeah, you want to install an app on my phone. You want me to put everything on my phone. Google runs this phone. I'm talking to this phone right now. This is you. This is Android. This is Eric Schmidt. I want to leverage this technology without giving things up. There's a fork of the Chrome browser, and this is very interesting for the non-technical people. There are people who have this thing that I have, and they are suspicious. They are paranoid. They're curious about this stuff. They're worried about this stuff already. And again, it might not necessarily be, I definitely worry about this all the time. Here's the reason why. It's more like that ooky feeling. This is weird. This is creepy. This is spooky. I don't like this. And there's a project to de-Google-ify Chrome. Chrome is a very good browser. Memory leaks aside. It is a very good, well-integrated browser. It's very fast, too. But I know that everything that goes into it, everything you type into it, goes straight to Google and is processed by some genetic algorithm that someone wrote or wrote itself, who the hell knows anymore, and determines that I'm going to be interested in, a TC 3.2 microcontroller coming up soon for one of my projects. And then in 2 months, I'm like, boy, these teensy 3.2s. That's really unnerving to not know if I've been calling this inception because it kind of is. The idea is Google impressions, where they just kind of feed you little bits. Here are your inputs. They're very subtle. I'm not in your face. I'm not saying, hey, you better buy this. Here, look at this ad. It's subtle. Subtle is creepy. Not knowing whether or not your ideas are your own is my concern. But there are people who are trying to, de-Googlify Chrome. They're trying to remove these hooks. And for the most part, I believe that big tech is still, I think that they're still not evil. I think that what they're doing is on its way to evil. And if, if the switch flips, then yeah, it could be probably one of the biggest superpowers on the planet. One of the biggest influencers. Talk about the bankers leading up to World War II. The people who controlled the interest rates, which controls the jobs, which controls the people and the happiness of those people. Just a few little tweaks on the dial, and then suddenly output. Tech can be reclaimed, and it can be used for good. It can be used for pure benefit. I believe that. It's just been appropriated. It's been twisted. So how can this phone... What I mean by Google not being evil yet, I think that they don't understand what they've created. And much like a well-meaning, people-loving socialist who just wants the best for people, once that socialism gets put in place, the violent, angry overthrow, controlling socialists, kill those ones first. So imagine a hostile takeover of Google, which is a hostile takeover is a business idea. It's not it is a thing where the company is taken over in a manner that the previous management does not really approve of, but it doesn't matter. But imagine a hostile takeover or a passive takeover of Google, where they start to go, hey, China, how you hate when people think different things? Let's shut that off. Let's see what we can do about that. Hey, Japan, how your generation is falling apart in age. Your age demographic is getting out of whack. You need more people having more babies. Let's see what we can do about that. Hey, you Republican senator, you tired of people not really thinking that they like the way that, not thinking the same way you think? Let's see what we can do about that. But I think that Google and a lot of this tech is still open in the well-meaning, doe-eyed impressions that they've started with. Chrome browser is open source. You can fork it, which is make a copy of it and tweak things. But if Google were evil, they would shut it down. No, this is our browser. We know what's in it. We control what's in it. We don't want to tell you what's in it because that's our trade secret. They're not there yet. And there's still simplified tools that can help you. Tools simple enough that you can understand them. I don't know what else there is to say. I don't like the advanced tech. I don't like computers writing code. And again, this is not, I don't have specific complaints. It's just, it feels ooky. It feels spooky. It feels weird. It feels gross. So I don't know where this leads. My understanding is that there is a backlash already. But the backlash is regressive to the point of, I don't want to say cavemanism, but I mean, this technology and machinery and automation has freed people up immensely. It's eliminated poverty and made leaps and bounds against it. We as humans have free time. Free time is a new thing. We're not just scraping by constantly, working 16 hours a day just to make ends meet, just to survive. We have free time to think about these things and pursue interests. Not this tech is just, the word that pops to my mind is super capitalism. And software has a weird place in capitalism because software is infinitely repeatable. It's intellectual property, which is hard for people to understand in the beginning. But the idea of super capitalism, it's something that's beyond capitalism. And obviously super ultra capitalism. It's exploitive. It's gross. So we need free platforms, we need independent platforms, we need decentralization, we need node networks, and we need open source. I think that's it. But I guess the first thing we need to do is get off of these super capitalist organizations. We need to escape. We didn't think that men were machines that could have cranks turned and reliably produce an output. But the powers of computing and big data analysis have revealed that that is not exactly quite the case. I am a free man, not a slave. And you can too.